Kids and cadets, welcome back to Tommy Time. Thanks for coming out. This 2016 Husky all-wheel drive came in a package deal, 4 for $100. It was the first deal I did with the local scrapper. He had brought me this and 3 other machines. I think I've done videos on 1 or 2 of the other machines. This happens to be the model number LC Lima Charlie 221 Alpha. Lima Charlie 221 Alpha. 21-inch cut, the product number 961-4500-2600. So I just got a message from a gentleman. He said, I'm looking for an all-wheel drive Husqvarna, John Deere, or Lawn Boy. And I told him I would try to come up with a machine for him. And I remember I had the all-wheel drive Husky here. So I believe this fired off with Happy Juice installed. We had turned it over and noticed that one of the pulleys was bound up. So I'm going to break this video up into two parts. We're going to go through the drive line and service the drive line on this, and then I'll do the carb in a second video. So let me turn this over and show you what I've done and what we need to do. And here's the culprit right here in my hand. So let me turn this over. And then get you set up. Maybe I'll bring you down a couple of feet, something like that. That's better. So the top pulley here was the one that was bound up. You can use a Torx, but I preferred to use an 11 millimeter to get the bolt off. I had these 2 other pulleys off, and I serviced them with some ATF. You can get these 250 milliliter squirt bottles on Temu or AliExpress. So I just started using this one today. I put some ATF in here. It's got a great little curved dispenser here, so I can go around and lubricate what I want with that. On the same subject, I also got a 3-pack of these little needle point squirt bottles. If you want to do 1 drop at a time, this is awesome. This is a 50 cc, and then there's some smaller ones in this pack. This was a 3-pack, a 30 and a 50, 2 30s and a 50. They all come with the needle. So I've just got some 10-30 weight in here for the smaller jobs. The big jobs, I'm just still using my Chinese squirter here. So let's get back to the issue at hand. This thing was totally frozen up. So what I did is I goobered up some ATF on either side, sit it on the hood of my CRV, and let the sun heat this up. I was able to get it to budge just a couple millimeters back and forth. I'd turn it over, lubricate that side, let the sun lubricate it. What I ended up doing was jamming these square nose pliers in here to give me something to grab onto, and then I took my big channel locks and was slowly breaking this thing free. I finally got it broke free. initial video, I said there's probably a flat side where the belt had been rubbing over it. Well, that's your flat side. Belt wore this over because the pulley wasn't moving. So this was your wear point right there. You can buy these aftermarket if this thing was totally shot and not salvageable. And I think I can read a part number off this pulley: 587969201. They sell them individually, or they'll sell them in a 3-pack if you want to do all of them. So this is a one belt does all. It goes to the front transmission and then it goes back here. I don't see any issue with the belt. We're just going to put the pulley back on with my 11 millimeter. And I've already got the front wheel taken off. We'll service the axle front and back, turn it over, do the same thing for these two other wheels. So if you're worried about routing, you can do one at a time so you don't get confused. So I'll put the top one back on. Everything is moving now as it should. I had the blade off. I touched up the blade. There's a lot of meat on the blade. I'm reusing that. It touched up nicely. So I'll work on this machine and tell this guy I got a Husky for him, all-wheel drive. Since it's the end of the season, I'll probably do $150 for this, or $160, no bag. He didn't ask for a bag. Okay. So that's good. I salvaged the pulley. So this is what we had here initially. Something like that. The big washer down. And this is 14 millimeter on the nut. Remove this. I like the metal gearing and not the plastic. This will last forever on this Husky. The plastic ones end up getting chewed up. So just looking at the axle here, it's all dry. A little bit of rust pitting. So we're going to put some grease on this when we put it back together. So right now I'm going to take my squirter and squirt a little bit of motor oil in here under the gear. And I'm going to do the same thing down here. I'm going to squirt it from the axle, let it drip down, and same for the back. But I got to remove this big clump of hay there so I can grease that up. Let me get a pick or a screwdriver. Okay, I got a pick and a screwdriver. So we have some grass buildup right here as well. I'm going to pull all that out. So what do we want? We want the pick. Pick this out. Harbor Freight pick set. So there's some grass caught up here on the shield. Let me pull that out. Some sticks got caught under here. I got my blowgun. I'll blow out this hay. Let me start digging up here. It's kind of wrapping around the pulley. Okay, let me get my blowgun. We'll blow all this out. Oil up this axle, the rear, then we'll flip this unit over. How do you guys service your transmissions? Front wheel drive or rear wheel drive? Okay, so I'll put a little more up here on the top. Let that drip down. And then some down here. Okay, that's that. I'll do the same back here. Squirty squirt. Let me blast some air in there first. It looks clean. There may be a little play in the bushings. Okay, that's good. So when we get it up, I'll put a little oil on the adjusters from the top down so this slides easier when you're adjusting deck height. This one's moving easy, but some of them are so rusted up you can't move the tab. So when I get to the top, I'll put a little oil behind here and up in here so it seeps down. So if Harvey, the homeowner, wants to adjust the deck height, he's not cussing me out for selling him a crappy unit. Okay, so I'm going to put my plastic shield down my big fat washer. Let me get my cup of grease. Just grease up the shaft. Not much. I know this is a big debate. Should you use grease or oil or any lubricant? My theory is a little bit's not going to kill anything. I put a little bit back here where it meets the big washer. So that goes down. And then I put a little bit here on the back of the nut, because the hub's going to come in contact with this a little bit. So I want to put a little grease there. These are 14s. nut for the blade is 14, so you're going to be using 14 a couple of times on this project. Okay, hand tighten that. Let's move over to the rear wheel. We're going to remove that, grease it up. Okay, metal gearing looks fine. There's no wear. So same thing, I'm going to lift up the plastic shield, the big washer here first. And going to grease up the axle from the top down. Doesn't take long. Couple of squirts, put this back on. Going to take a little grease, put it here, and then on my nut. We got Southwest going out of town. A little up here on the shaft. Not much, just prevents metal on metal because these hubs on these wheels are metal. A little bit here on the nut. And then we're done with this side. We'll flip it over once I put the big washer back in place. Never forget parts. Okay, there we go. Now we're cooking with fire. Beautiful day in Southwest Florida. I think it's going to be 85 or 87 today. Had some cooler weather beginning of the week. Okay, so that's done. Let me turn it back over and we'll go to the other side, or maybe I'll just do something like this. I don't want to disturb you guys, so I'll turn it over this side, which is the wrong way, but hopefully I don't leak any fuel out of the cap. Okay, I don't see any dripping, so let's get busy. We'll start here since you're facing the back. Now, the last thing we'll do is, when it's on all fours, we'll oil up the adjusters. How does everything look here? Looks beautiful. Don't be afraid to turn these over and clean out grass, sticks that get caught up. Do some transmission servicing. So this looks like just a one cable on this for the transmission, which has an adjustment on the cable itself. Okay, when we oil this one from the other side, oil drip down, so that's good. I'm going to go down here to the bottom and oil it from this side. Okay, couple of squirts down there. It's oily up here. Going to grease up the shaft with a dab of grease. Okay, that's That's looking good. Grease the back side here where it touches the washer. Oh yeah. A little bit on the nut. Then we'll switch down to the front tire. We'll do that one. So this is going pretty quick. The thing that took me a while was breaking up that pulley, breaking the rust off of that, letting that sit on the hut CRV, heat up that transmission fluid so it penetrates the rusty bearings. So what I'll probably do is give you part numbers for these pulleys. They're not very expensive. I think I have a couple of them in stock as backups, but I try to salvage what I can because I'm a cheap shade tree mechanic. As you saw, that one was locked up tight. The belt just ends up running past it. Okay, so grab my squirter. How is it up here? It's pretty lubed up here. I'm gonna go down here and get the bottom, let that drip down. Okay, happy with that. Grab my grease up the shaft. Grease up the hub here a little bit. Okay, that goes down. Put a little grease on my nut, like so. Okay, we're dripping a little bit of fuel, it looks like. Yep, it's coming out of the carb and the fuel cap. So we're going to make haste here and get this thing on all fours. Petrol is expensive. I don't want it going back into the ground for somebody else to use in 3 million years. I want it for my own use. Let me get the blow gun and kind of do a little blow up here. Okay, I'm happy with that. We go down on all fours and do the adjusters. I'm just putting a little oil up here on the bail bars. Sorry about that. I got my Nebraska football shirt on. I do my best work with my Nebraska shirt. You're moving all over the place. It's because I don't have the center section in my tripod. Here's the oil can. So I just come along here and do squirt, squirt, like that. Do the same thing here. Squirt, squirt. Yeah, we lost a lot of gas out of the carb. Okay, so this thing is adjusting great. A little bit of play in the wheel there. Okay, that's done. I set them to the highest position. Let me bring you down to the ass end, and we're going to do the same thing here. Lubricate that. Go to the other side. Okay, so far it hasn't been an issue messing with this thing. We'll see how it goes with cleaning the carb. Okay, the side was a little stiffer, but it's starting to free up. Okay, let me move you back on the concrete and we'll refamiliarize ourselves with this, what this thing did, and then we'll go on to the carb for the second video. Then we'll check the oil. That'll give it a 30-second lapse here to settle down at the crankcase. You can look at some dirt. Okay, let me get you back up higher. We'll check oil and try starting this thing. Okay. Looks like some Delta folks are heading out. They should have stayed. Beautiful day in Southwest Florida. High 80s. Okay, it's at the bottom mark, and I'll change the oil. It's questionable. I'll send it out with good oil. Yeah, it's at the bottom of the dipstick. I've got my carb cleaner nearby. I'll degrease it. It's not too bad as far as grease buildup. Don't want to leave you in the sun too long. I can feel the iPad heating up. Let me pull on it now with just no motivation. Okay, no motivation. It kicked off. There is fuel in it, so maybe we got a little water in the bowl. I could do a fuel sample. Do you guys remember if I put fuel in this when he first showed up? Or was that fuel in the carb already? In the tank already, not the carb. Okay, let's look for my turkey baster if I can't find it within 30 seconds. I'm not going to mess with it. I'll try pulling on it again. Come on, turkey. There we go. Turkey baster in hand. Okay. Not organized as normal, but we're going to make it happen. Okay. back at you. I'm just going to take a little sample. Okay, fuel is looks milky. It just looks cloudy. Yeah, I can see some water droplets. So I think we got contaminated fuel. Yeah, and there's a ton of debris. I'm looking at it now. It's got a bunch of debris and really cloudy. So it's time for a fuel system clean on this. We'll give it one more pull with no motivation. Start and stall on its own. So the fuel is bad, but not totally bad. There's still some volatility to it, but it needs to be changed. We'll do that in the next video. Thanks for coming out, looking at this 2016 Husky. This is going to go out the door here rather shortly after we come back and do the carb clean. I'll put you back in the shade so I don't overheat. I can't do a 30-minute video here in the sun, of the iPad is going to crap out. So I'm going to take a short break, come back at you. We'll do the carb clean. As always, please tip your waitress and wait staff. They're doing an awesome job. And root for Nebraska. They need all the help they can get. Have a good day today.